Welcome back to the Value Exchange podcast, episode 11. Again, I've got like a backlog of episodes, so I've been kind of working out which episode we're on. So this is actually episode 11, and I'm pretty proud of the journey I've gone on over the last year. Excited about today's episode as well. Joined by Kofi Josephs today, pro basketball player, model, entrepreneur, mental health advocate. Quite the list there. Welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
No worries. That's quite the resume, as I just said. So I guess off the bat straight away, what's one thing you'd like people to know about you?
I don't know. It's a weird one because I'm very open and authentic now with who I am. Like when I was just a basketball player, I didn't really want the world to know that I had any other interests or I did anything else because I wanted to just be Kofi Josephs, the basketball player, because I rated that as so high that nothing else mattered. That was my identity. But now, I'm open and honest with everything. So what's one thing I want people to know about me? I'd say I'm an author. Like, I love to write. But I've got a book. I've written a book.
Okay.
Which I should have brought with me because it's in the car. But it's, like, a lot of people don't know that I'm an author, that I've written books and that I plan on writing, like, children's books, some more, like, fiction, non-fiction books. I don't plan on just having this mental health memoir. I want to do so much more. So I think that's what people probably most surprised about. The modelling and, like, fashion and all that, sports, like, I think they kind of expect it. Or aren't surprised, but when I'm like, yeah, I'm an author, they're like, what? Like, and then I'm like, yeah, here's my book. And they're like, hard copy? What? It's like, yeah. So probably say that I'm an author.
I love that. I like the multiple pursuits because I'm very much the same where I want to do loads of things. Like, yeah, I've got a podcast, but I want to do so much more. So I can definitely resonate with that. We'll probably dive into the book stuff later. I wanna do this like chronologically, so your story is told in a way that makes sense to the audience. So maybe we take it back to childhood. Where should we start?
Birmingham, man. That's where I'm from. I'm from the hood in Brom. Like, I love being from there, but I could never live there again. Like, it was a key part of, like, my upbringing, like, my mentality and the way I thought. Brom's very crabs in a barrel type mindset, but you don't realise it when you're there or only from there. You haven't been anywhere else. It took me leaving and going through, like, quite a lot of situations that rode me the wrong way, that forced me to change my mindset of life in general, that everyone doesn't think like this. And I was just like, what? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, you got to start in Birmingham. Me, my mom, only child, single parent family, just trying to make it work, trying to get out the hood. So definitely got to start there.
Why would you never live there again?
Crabs in a barrel, man. Like, there's so many things in the world to do, and there's so many people who want to help you do it, and there's so many people to help. Like, you can really do this together. But in Brom, it's like, if you've ever saw crabs in a barrel, like, none of them can climb out because when one starts climbing up, the others start pulling it down. And none of them get out. Meanwhile, if one climbed out and just pulled the others with them, they'd all get out the barrel. And Brom's kind of got that first mindset. And it took me leaving to be around people who want to build, who want to change their lives in the right way, who have different mindsets, who are open to learning. And at first it was foreign to me, but once I understood it and took a step back, I really embraced it, because where I'm trying to get to, the crab in the barrel mindset doesn't work. And then also being around really successful people, you equate at the very beginning that to be super successful, you've got to do it alone and leave everyone behind. But then you actually meet these people and they're like, what? No. And it's like, oh, but I thought, and they're like, yeah, you've got it all wrong. And it's like, okay. And I care more about where I'm trying to go than where I am or where I've been. So that's why I'll probably never live back in Brom. I'll go visit, but nah. And also, like 2 years ago, I went back to visit a basketball court I hand painted for the Commonwealth Games and almost got murdered. So, yeah, that was a bit mad. So I'm cool on living in Brum.
Okay, makes sense. But I guess that's like a lot of things where you get accustomed to something and then something changes and then you get a bit of a different perspective, a wider perspective. Like, oh, not everywhere's like this. Not everyone thinks this way. And I definitely agree. I think doing it as a community, you can go much further.
Way further.
Different strengths, resources, just supporting each other a lot further. Where does that mindset come from? Where entrepreneurs and people who want to go far in life just think, yeah, if I've got to do this, I've got to do it alone.
I don't think people trust people. I know my level of trust in people is very... It's not the best because I really care about what I'm trying to do. And a lot of people nowadays just don't care, but they don't care about anything. Like, they don't care about themselves, they don't care about their health, they don't care about their friends, their family, they don't care about their goals, their dreams. So if you don't care about that for you, why would you care about what I'm doing or what we're trying to build? Because you're not bothered. But I actually care about everything that I'm involved in, and that's why I've also had to limit and minimize the amount of things that I do because I care so much. I'm being very widely spread and I don't always get the best output, and then it burns me out and I get stressed because I care so much and I want the best for it. But a lot of people don't care and it's hard to trust people. And it's like, I was going to do that myself and then I trusted you to do it and you haven't done it and you're not bothered that you haven't done it, and I'm supposed to be okay that you haven't done it. But now if I've got an attitude with you or hold you to account, you've got a problem with me. When I'm the one who had the problem with you because we're supposed to be doing this together. And I think in entrepreneurship, at the very beginning as well, a lot of people don't care about what you've got going on in this day and age too, because they only really care when it's successful. So when you're doing a podcast and you've got 10 people listening, no one wants to come and help you set up the camera or film or do the editing for you. You've got to learn everything, but it's fine. But then when you're Joe Rogan level, you're like, I don't need a team because what I've been doing is working. Now everyone wants to help. Hey, do you need a videographer? Do you need this? Do you need that? And you're like, no. But I'm literally doing the same thing I've done when 10 people listen to now 10 million people listen. But because you saw the number, you now equate it to being good. When it's like, some of my best conversations might have been episode 5. But you care about episode 900 because it's got 10 million views. And that might be a crap episode that brings no value. So people are very fickle nowadays of how they think about things. And when you're an entrepreneur who really cares about what you're doing, especially if you're early doors, you might be better off just keeping positive energy around, which is your own. And that's what I've found. And it's taken me a while to like start building a team or trusting people to come in. Because if you don't care, I'm going to have an issue with you, and you're not about to gaslight me into having an issue with you. So now you've got an issue with me. Like, I don't care. But it's hard to do that. Do you know what I mean? You got to stand 10 toes on that. It's not easy.
Yeah, I guess when you're building something, it's almost like you're a baby. You protect it, and you're like, is this person got the right intentions? Do they share my passion? I'm gonna have to watch over them. Are they gonna get done what they say they'll get done?
Like your character, like where your morals and values. Like, if you say you're gonna do something, how important is it to you that you do it? And it doesn't matter if you do it because other people are watching. What if no one's around, but you said you're going to do something? Are you going to get it done? And obviously I'm coming from the athlete world, so no one's going to run the sprints for me. And no one's going to get the reps up for me. But I end up cheating myself because when it comes to game day, where I thought that I've lucked out by cheating the process, when it's time to perform, it ends up biting me in the ass. And I know holding myself to account and being responsible and having that level of accountability produces results that I want. But not everyone's got that background. Do you know what I mean? And I never used to have that background because I used to be that kid who's like, oh, I never want to go practice. I just want to play on game day. Now I'm like, I care more about practice than the game because that's where the preparation comes to perform. Do you know what I mean? I think that comes with age and wisdom as well.
100%. And I like them people who think that way.
100%. I love them, but there's not a lot of them. They're not the majority. So like, you've got to have like a small circle or like interact with those people, but they're hard to find. They're not everywhere. And it is a very lonely path, which you've got to kind of embrace. It isn't the nicest because you also go on social media and you see everyone's got big friend groups, everyone's doing this, everyone's doing that. But it's easy to get a large group to do some BS. It's easy. Do you know what I mean? If you want to go get drunk and get girls and this, that, and the other, everyone wants to do that. But when you want to have like a business meeting or you want to talk about your goals for the year or let's hold each other account or it's like, oh, no, I'm cool, still I'm busy. It's like, are you happy with where we're at in life? Like, why am I not happy with it and you're fine with it? Now it's a clash of like futures now. Yeah. And unfortunately, sometimes you got to let people go.
I'm glad you said that because something I feel so passionately about. Did you? I mean, we're not going chronologically. Let's forget about that. I'm enjoying this. We essentially talking about that social shedding there, where you know your trajectory in life. You know, I'm aiming for this, and after a while, you're realizing this. You know, one of your boys or whoever it is, they're not aiming as high. They don't want the same things as you.
It's heartbreaking, bro.
And it's a bit of a crossroads. It's like, okay, do I still chill with him? Do I still see him? Do I try and bring him up with me? But at the minute, I want it for him more than he wants it for himself.
You can't.
So what was your experience? Kind of, you know.
I'm experiencing it now. I'm always experiencing it because you know what's the worst thing of that as well? If you're the individual where everyone believes in you that you're gonna do it, you probably have a lot of support because everyone's like, oh, I knew you was going to do it. Yeah. But then you've also got the person who believes they're going to do it and no one else believes in them. They have two different experiences. They might both want the same outcome, but them two have very different experiences on the way to getting there. I'm the latter, where everything I've done, it's like people haven't believed that I was going to do it, but I've had to have so much belief in myself where some days it's, I'm going to prove you lot wrong. And some days it's, I'm doing it for the right reason because I just want a better life. But either way, I don't care. The fuel's got to get me there. We'll deal with what the reasoning was when we get there. The only thing that matters is the outcome because people only care when you get there. And usually when you reach it, you're not really asked about what helped you get there. Like when I first made the England team, a lot of it was because loads of people told me I couldn't do it. By the time I got there, it took me 15 years. By the time I got there, I wasn't asked about my teacher in year 7. I don't care what he thinks because I'm happy to be here, which is what matters. Yeah. So on that road, it's tough. And because I'm that latter person, it's a very lonely road. Even when you've got your boys and this, that, and the other, you low-key... They low-key don't want you to do it. Or they want someone to do it, but they'd prefer if it was someone else. And that's where it's a tough one because you're like, are you my boy or are you not?
Why is that? Why do they want it to be someone else?
I don't know. Or sometimes a lot of people are selfish now where they want it to be them. But it's like, how do you want it to be you when you don't put the work in that I do? How do you want my outcomes without going through the process? And obviously in this day and age, it just looks like everyone just gets results without processing it. Do you know what I mean? Without doing the daily work and this, that and the other. And I love the process of things, good or bad, because my mindset shift of, you gotta start someday. And it's more than likely going to start badly. But if you stick with it, it's going to get good. And I always think, there was a time that you didn't know how to play basketball, bro. You might not remember it, because you've now got to a stage of like autonomy where you think like you've always been good, but that's just because you put so much reps and hours in. But there actually was a time you didn't even know how to hold the ball. So if you just take that kind of method to whatever you do, aka stay in it long enough and keep learning and keep trying, you'll get good regardless. Like it's just the outcome of process of elimination. And yeah, social shedding is horrible, man. I kind of feel like I'm going through it now, and I've always gone through it because I've always been kind of like an outcast to my friends. Like, I'm a basketball player that does other stuff. So I fit in with the basketball players, but I don't. I'm a model that plays basketball, or I'm a model that's an author, or I do mental health speaking, but when I'm going to corporates, I'm dressed like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I fit in everywhere, but I really don't fit in everywhere. So even with my friends, a lot of them like fit in where they fit in. So I'm kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, it kind of feels, but where I'm trying to go to, I'm just trusting that I'll find the right people along the journey. And I'm going to have to, because where I'll get where I'm going to end up, if they ain't the right people there, then at least I'm where I want to be, and we figure out the details later. Do you know what I mean? Because I just want such a better quality of life. And I'm trying to change like generational curses and set an example where if it hasn't came from the other people in my family, then it needs to come from me. And if I don't put the work in, it's not going to come from me. Now I'm putting the pressure on my children or whatever. I'm not setting them up in a way for generations to actually get rolling. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't like it. So if the friends have to go, heartbreakingly, then they do. Like, you can always feel when there's like the distance creating, but that's where you've got to lean more into your purpose. And I just feel like it's just too important nowadays, man.
What is your purpose?
Change the world. World domination, I like to say, but in the right way.
Yeah.
But just mental health, inspiring and educating people to better mental health in a different way, in a way that hasn't been done before. I'd say.
And why is mental health important to you?
I went through a madness, bro. Like, my whole life's just been nuts, but it was all necessary for me to be who I am.
That's a powerful view, though.
Yeah, like, all the stuff that's happened, the good, great, but the bad was all necessary, because it had to happen for me to learn what I needed to learn, for me to go down to the pits that I needed to do to be able to climb back up and be who I am today. Do you know what I mean? Because all the stuff that I'm doing today is all lived experience. Do you know what I mean? And I had to go through it. And trust me, that most of the time I was thinking, why me? Because you're looking at other people whose lives are just do this, that, and the other. Or you assume it to be because that's what they're showing. But at the moment you're in your hell, you'd rather have their blissness. You don't care if they've got stuff going on behind the scenes, because you just see that is better than what I'm going through. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man, it's just super important to me.
And then bad experiences, is that tied to the generational curses that you want to break?
All tied in, all of it. Even like being a husband that's an active father. Like, in my community, there's quite a lot that aren't, and I didn't have that. So for me personally, that's a generational thing that I would like to break. And now start my own trajectory of that, where my son grows up, mum and dad were together. So when he has children, it's not out of the ordinary for him. He's not watching my wife and kids and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and thinking, oh, that only happens on TV. Because he looks in the kitchen and he sees mum and dad together. I used to watch my wife and kids and Fresh Prince and think, oh, that was only on TV because it's just me and my mum. But what people don't realise is when you have them kind of situations, it trickles into every other aspect of life. So if I'm raised by only women, I've got love for women, but my dad's not around. So anytime now that I interact with men, I've got an issue. And that could be my male teacher, it could be police officer, it could be basketball coach. I've got an issue with you just because you're a man. It's got nothing to do with who you are, because you're a man. So that was catastrophizing everything in my life. It weren't just in the household, do you know what I mean? And I had to learn a lot of lessons the hard way, super hard way. I'm lucky I was talented, otherwise I might not have got the grace Do you know what I mean? Like, the star player gets a little bit of extra grace when he's kicking over water bottles and fighting and this, that, and the other, because he's really good. But imagine he's like an average player. Oh, get rid of him, we'll get someone else. So I was lucky in that way of it. Gave me a little bit extra time to like learn the valuable lessons that I needed. But if I had a dad in the house, I probably would have had to go through that, because I'm not trying to scrap my coach. I'm not going for police officers. I'm not running my mouth to male teachers and being nice to the females. Why? Because I grew up in a house where I respect my dad and I've got a male figure around. Do you know what I mean? And the only males I do see at that time are like guys on the road, like gangbangers and rappers and elite athletes. So I'm just like, I just want to be like them, because they're boys, just older than me. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, that's how simple it is. So if I can change like that type of generational stuff, it trickles into everything, I think. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just taking that responsibility on myself.
And when was your introduction to mental health?
So I was born. Because mental health is so vast. Like, when you're, like, let's say, for that example, when you're a child and you're born and you're only around your mum, at some point you're going to be like, where's my dad? Even without realising it, you're asking, like, where's my dad? Because now you know there's men and women. So, like, where's the other one? Don't know. Now, you can easily have self-worth and self-identity issues now, because it's like, so I'm watching TV and it's like, well, his dad's around for him. Why is my dad not around for me? Now you got self-worth issues and identity crisis, and am I not worthy? Am I not worth it? So who really knows when mental health issues start? You don't really know. I don't know when mine started, really, but it's just loads of a culmination. But also for me, mental health isn't just bad. It's positive, because it's a spectrum. When I'm super happy and life's going well, I've got positive mental health. When things are going to shit, it's bad mental health. It's navigating the ebbs and flows. Do you know what I mean? Because you technically can't enjoy a good day if you haven't had a bad one. If you haven't had a bad one, it's just another day. Do you know what I mean? So it's navigating all of that. But obviously you know a lot more about your bad days because of how it makes you feel. So yeah, for me, it's just probably like since I was born, really.
And did you question where your dad was?
Yeah, all the time, everything. But then when he came back around when I got good at basketball, that makes me question more things now, because it's like, where was you before that? Or why are you not in my household all the time? Because Uncle Phil lives at his house. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's there all the time. Why am I hearing from you once a week? Or once a month? Where are you? Also, like, who are these other kids that you've got? Why do you live with them? Why do they see you more than I do? And then you get to the point eventually where you're like, I ain't even got questions anymore. You're an op, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm just going to prove you wrong. So it's just a big culmination of so many different things. And obviously you've got your mother, who, because you're young, she's also, because she's a person, she's got her own issues and feelings about that individual, because to you, he's your dad. To her, that's her ex-partner. Two different things. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, but then the older you get, you're like, all right, like, I'm older now and I interact with women, but now I think to myself, when I was 27, 26, how would I feel being a dad? And then when I'm interacting with women who are 26, I'm like, you was the same age as my mom having me. Now I'm like, Kofi, look at the conversations you're having with these women and when it's working or not working. Think about it in different ways now. Yeah. It's not just they're your parents. And also, what if they've never experienced parenthood before? There's so many different factors. Do you know what I mean? It just makes you question a load of things. So it's very intricate. Like, it's very intricate. But good as well, because I think thought is super important to be able to process things and have different perspectives and ideas about things. And not just judge it straight away.
Yeah, it's quite tough to look at it like that, though.
Yeah, can be. But it is what it is as well. At the same time, you got to take the positives out of it, or you're just going to be stuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could easily be like a lot of young men that I know who are like, it's very easy to follow the path that you've been shown. It's a lot harder to go the opposite way, because also I'm out here like, oh yeah, I want to be a husband and a present father. What example have I got of that isn't on TV? I had to actively go search out like men that are married. I ended up living with my uncle when I was in the States. He was helping me with like my America process for university. He's married and got 3 kids. And I was just like, and I got there when I was like 17, 18. So I'm grown, especially in like inner city communities. At 17, like, I'm the man in the house. I'm grown. No one can tell me nothing. I'm an adult. And then I've gone to a house where there's another man. And he's the head of his house. And he's got 3 kids. And it's like, all right. And he's like, you're an example for your little cousins. I'm my only child. I'm not going to be an example for nobody. Holding me to an account. I'm like, all right. But then also, there's someone above me in the hierarchy in the house. You're telling me when we're all watching TV, he's got the remote. What? I'm used to having the remote. So now I'm like, where do I fit? And I found a lot of the time where I would, especially when I first got there, I'd be on the outskirts just watching, because my level of like autism and like ADHD, I process things differently. So I actually didn't know how I fit in the family, because there was 3 kids aged between my youngest cousins, they're twins, they were 9. And my little cousin, he was 11. Then you got me at 17, and then you got my uncle and his wife. So I haven't just come in and I'm like the only child. I'm like a big brother, but I'm also like your son. But it's a lot different being a son to a woman than it is to a man, especially at 17, 18, because he's holding me to account in a different way, because he sees me as before, like, helping me become a man of the world. So I'm not being coddled and loved on like a woman would. So I'm just lost. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, you know, let me just take a step back and just watch, because I've never been in a house with more than 2 people in. Okay, I'm one of them and my mum's the other. Now I'm in a house, remove me, it's 5 people. Where's your alone time? Why is there just always people? Why is there always noise? Like, where can I go and just be me? I was just like, how did you like do it? I didn't know. So I had to really observe it, do you know what I mean? But I plan on having a good sized family with multiple people in the house and stuff. So it's better I learn from it and put myself in situations so that when I end up there, I'm comfortable. And then my kids can be comfortable, because parents don't realise how traumatic they can be for children, because they're just a sponge. And I don't want to be that if I can help it. So do the work early. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And what is the work?
Putting myself in uncomfortable situations to learn so that I can become the man that I need to be. And boy, it's uncomfortable. But I low-key love it as well. It's kind of like an acquired taste now. It's like getting tattoos. I've got 2 sleeves. Tattoos hurt. I don't care what anyone says. They hurt. But as soon as you're done, you want to go get another one. Because it's like an acquired taste, like an acquired feeling. That's how being uncomfortable feels for me, because I also have enough of a track record where being uncomfortable in the right situations leads exactly to where I want to be and need to be.
That's how you grow.
Yeah, it's just how you grow. Do you know what I mean? And I know the results of it, especially from having like a sporting background. Practice is supposed to be harder than the games. And if you've got a good coach in a good situation, it is. And then the game's comfortable. And now, when you had a great game or you won a championship, you don't care how hard practice was, because you've got the results that you wanted. And I care about the results that I want now, because I've really like honed them in. So yeah.
It's quite an adjustment period then when you went to the States.
Yeah, my whole life's an adjustment period, bro. Pretty much, yeah. Now I think about my whole life is just adjusting. But where I'm trying to get to, I have to adjust, because like the guy I am, I can't be him where I'm trying to go. But I also understand that it's not 0 to 10. You need to just focus on 1 to 2. Whoever you are at 2, you need to do the work to get to 3. Because if I think about who I need to be at 10, anxiety central, and then it's like, what's the point?
Because you're so far
So
separated
far,
from it.
and also because I don't know the steps of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why would I be able to calm myself down and give myself the necessary steps? I don't know. But I don't need to know.
No.
We think we should know, but it's like, why should you know? I talk to a lot of business people now, and it's crazy, and it makes me feel better because I'm open, honest, and transparent. Like, judge me if you want. I don't care. I know who I am. It's whatever. I speak to these business people who are super successful, and I say to them all the time, yo, I'm just winging this. They're like, oh, Kofi, we all are. Wait, what? What do you mean? We all are. You're not winging it. You've got a super successful business that's turning over millions and helping people and doing whatever. You're not winging it. Like, yeah, Kofi, we are. I just know more than you. But I've been in it 25 years.
Yeah.
You're on year 2. So why would you know what I know at year 25? Now I'm like, oh, fair. They're like, just learn what you need to learn so you can get to the next step and then go from there. I'm like, okay, makes sense.
It's comforting though, right? And it goes back to the thing you said about this social media thing where externally
Everyone's doing great.
everyone's doing great. Everyone's got a great life, traveling, friends, cars, watch, whatever. Everyone's doing great. And externally, especially when your mental health might be shit, seeing that
In the pits. Just drags you down, innit?
Yeah, of course.
I have to remind myself. So smoke and mirrors. I know I've got friends personally that just gas it up for social media, and it jars me because I love being authentically who I am. And my life is my life. And when, like, people forget there's people out here that know you in real life. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's just faking it, and I'm just like, you're jarring. And that's another thing where the friendship thing, it's like, it's creating the distance because why are you lying to people? You must think by lying to people it's going to get you further ahead. But there's this phrase, and it's happened to me: be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. I've wished for certain situations. Perfect example, Great Britain senior team. I always wanted to play for the senior team, always. It's always a goal for like a young player. You always want to play for your country. I'm telling everyone. I'm seeing all the years, I'm seeing guys get picked. Oh, I'm better than him. I could play at GB. I could do this. What? Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. I got selected to be in the GB team. I had no previous experience of playing any juniors. I'm talking none. I get to GB senior men's team where everyone has played in the junior development program because it kind of prepares you each year for when you get to the seniors. I got there. It was like being dropped in the ocean and I'm a tadpole. It was crazy, but I'm in it now. I can't just be like, oh, this isn't for me and be done. I'll come back next year. Don't work like that. But every year I want to make GB. I want to make GB. I want to make GB. It's like God was saying, you know what? I'm tired of listening to you. I'm trying to give you the steps to get ready for GB so that when you finally get there, you don't only go and burn out. You go, you perform, and you stay. But you know what? Some things you need to get early, no problem. Here you go. You got it? Got there. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, bro. Oh, the burnout was crazy to the point where I was reading my playbook and I can't remember the page I just read. Like, everyone's having downtime and chill time in between like workouts and stuff. I'm talking to coaches, I'm going over the playbook because it's such a fast learning curve at that level. If you've never done it before, there's so much to get used to. I'm talking like, because I'm so highly strung because that situation was so intense, like the lights super bright, I'm like, yo, I'm like, oh, there's that player. We're doing like certain activities before practice starts, like pre-practice. I'm like, I've never done this before. Now I'm like, how hard do I go? My body's burnt out, I'm tired. But when this is gone, my body just follows. Then I've got 3 workouts in a day. And then it isn't like a week. It's like a summer for like 3 months. I'm with the national team, burnt out every single day. But then the thing that's burning me out even more is that I know I'm better than this. And the learning curve's so quick. So what we done yesterday, we ain't even going over that today. But the reason why everyone else is fine with what they're doing today is because they've been with GB since under 16s. They've done it every summer, 16, 17, 18, 20s, 23s, now they're on seniors. So yeah, they don't need to go over it yesterday because they've been doing it for 6 years. Me, on the other hand, never done it in my life. And it's a different style of basketball. I might be the main guy on every team I've played on. It's different on the national team because everyone's the main guy on every team they played on. So how do you fit? I'd never had that experience before. I didn't know. I hadn't even played for West Midlands. That's what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? And God was like, all right, cool. So be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. So sometimes have that goal, but wish for the process to get you ready for that goal. Because after I left GB, I didn't feel like positive that I'd been at GB when it'd been a goal of mine for like 6 years. But nothing was preparing me for that because I was trying to rush the process so much. Do you know what I mean? And it's, nah. So that's what I tell people now. And it's like, a lot of people are faking it till they make it. A lot of these models out here, they get signed and they can't wait to put it in their Instagram bio, model. And then I'll speak to them or see them and I'm like, how many shoots you done? None. But you're out here telling all these girls that you're a model. I'm like, you don't know what it means to be a model. I can tell by the way you talk about it. You talk about it like it's super glamorous. You haven't worked a rail. I've just hella clothes and it's boom, 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 boom. You're bored and it's burning you out mentally because you're just like, I'm over this. You got migraine because of flash every 5 seconds for like 7 hours. You ain't got a clue. Do you know what I mean? So it's very tough out here for people and faking it till you make it, ain't it? And social media is a whole bunch of bollocks, bro. I hate it. I hate it. Even like coming down to like you'll post something and you'll know your friends who are supposed to be your friends have seen it and they ain't liked your post. And you're just like, and then you'll just be like, oh, okay, maybe they've never seen it. Then you'll scroll and you'll see their name under someone else's BS and you're like, I'm out here actively trying to change my life. I'm changing other people's lives. You know the person I used to be and all the growth I've done because you actually know me and you ain't going to give me no support. But that little piece of crap over there, that's what you're going to support. Crazy. And it can just make you spin, but you don't know if the Instagram algorithm even showed them you think. And now you've got an issue with your friend. Do you know what I mean? There's just so much things. That's why I'm just like, social media, nah, bro. I just care about where I'm trying to get to. And trusting God that the right people will see it at the right time and I'll end up growing and being in the right place where I'm supposed to. That's all that matters, bro.
God's timing, not yours.
You see it, bro. God's work, come on now. I believe in that wholeheartedly because now when I'm doing talks and stuff, it's not the talk, it's the response I get after the talk. Where, like, I might do a school, 800 kids. Any questions? Bunch of, like, the popular kids who got confidence, they'll ask me questions because they're not bothered. No one's going to laugh at them. And then there'll be, like, 1 or 2 kids, or I can see they want to ask me a question. I'll wait to the end, speak to them after. And they're like, thank you so much. I've been going through this. Boom, boom, boom. You helped me so much. I'm like, that feels better than hitting a game-winning shot. And then people are saying to me, yo, that's God's work, you know. I'm like, because I know it's messenger, not message. It's the right person. I'm not the right, my delivery and how I am isn't right for everyone. But there's a bunch of people it is right for. So I just need to be there for them. When I used to be that little kid in school where I was the only kid that played basketball and carrying a basketball with me around school. In the early 2000s, we had no one playing basketball. We had no social media. We didn't even have MySpace. Do you know what I mean? Basketball wasn't popular like that. I'm the one kid that plays basketball and telling people, yeah, I want to go to America. With my head teacher's like, what? Go to America? We're in Handsworth in Birmingham. But obviously there's no examples of people that have already done it. So they can't see the vision. But I've just got this vision that I don't have really. I'm just going to the newsagents every month and going to the magazine section and seeing the basketball magazine in America. I'm like, well, I want to go to this place one day. No one sees the vision but me. I'm having to believe to the point where I'm questioning God, like, yo, what? Why is this on me? Because my life would actually be a lot easier if you just gave me another vision or purpose that was just a little bit simpler. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking to myself, why don't I like football? Just make me like football. Make me just tolerate football. Make me tolerate it. Because if I'm going to do basketball for 20 years and become like the equivalent of an England footballer in basketball, my life is set. I don't need to do mental health talks. I don't need to do this. I don't have to do anything. I'm set for life as long as I'm smart. He's like, nah, you're doing this. I'm like, this is difficult. He's like, yeah, but it's meant for you. And now I just don't question it anymore, bro. I'm just like, all right, cool. Because there's certain things that I wanted, that I thought I really wanted, that haven't happened, that have ended up being for the best. Like purpose and everything that I'm doing now, love it. Love it, and it's hard. Don't get it twisted. Just because I love it, I mean it's easy, it's going super well. It's hard. Half the time I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, yo, what's the next step? I'm winging it, but then you get like a little gem that just keeps the fire going. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's all I need. Keep going. And then when I think of who I used to be, not just what I used to do, who I used to be when he was doing all that, such a better person overall. Even just my mindset. Do you know what I mean? Not like the monetary things and things on the outside, just how I think about things now. I'm like, it's because of what you've been through and what you're doing. And that is the most valuable thing.
Something you said there, sometimes that one thing keeps you going. And it reminded me of something I read where you said, can I get through today? Can I get through the next hour?
Oh, is that what I said?
And taking it, when you're struggling with your mental health and just saying, you know, instead of looking, oh, how am I going to do it? What about the next hour? Can I get through the next hour? Can I get through the next day?
I was getting to that. When I was like suffering, bro, it was like, yo, how small do I need to break it down to? Because I'm like, I can't make it the next 10 minutes. Because I'm not trying to be here no more. And people, next hour, I ain't got 10 minutes. I was like 5, and I was like, let's see how I feel in the 5. Can't do it. Let's just micromanage it now. Break it down to its basic level. Each minute. Do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool. What can I do now? All right, cool. Like, just little things where it's like, all right, jump in the shower, read a book, go for a walk. Do you know what I mean? It was like little things like that, man. And then eventually when I started feeling a little bit better at my core, then it was, okay, I don't need to micromanage myself for this minute or this 5 minutes. We could do an hour. Do you know what I mean? Because that's all that matters. Like, thinking too far in the future brings mental health issues in itself, especially if you're a bit shaky, because you ain't thinking of everything positive in the future. You're already on the ropes. And now you're just like, it's just a slippery slope. And I was like, I know my personality and I'm in a negative frame of mind right now. Do not give yourself more rope to hang yourself. Don't. Just focus on what you can do for yourself right now. It's like in basketball, they're just like, don't be thinking about scoring this many points. Just focus on what you're doing right now. Like, be in the right position. Just be in the right position. When you do that, then what's the next step after being in the right position? And now, after a while, I end up finding myself just naturally in flow and doing better. Do you know what I mean? And being okay with the process and the right steps and whatever the outcome is, being all right, because I know at the very basic level I did what I was supposed to do. So that's what I started doing with my mental health, man. Even like reading, listening to certain types of music, not being around certain types of people. Like when I was in the States, I removed myself from the group chat with the boys. Had to, because I've had 2 hip surgeries and 3,000 miles away by myself. Shit ain't a joke over here, bro. Like, you lot have all got your boys. I'm over here alone. And I've had 2 hip surgeries. Being told that my career's done. I'm 22. The group chat ain't funny to me, bro, because nothing's funny right now. I'm about to try and be the first person in my family to graduate university. My scholarship might be getting taken. My professional basketball dream's gone before I even got it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're not concerned with
I'm
what's
not
happening
concerned.
on Friday night.
Yeah, and also it's like I'm 6 hours behind. So when I wake up in the morning, I got 4,000 messages to read, and everyone's just bantering and joking and whatever. And I'm like, do I care? Because I'm about to wake up, get on crutches to go to the training room now at 5 a.m. because I've got to do my rehab before classes start. It's freezing. Shit ain't funny over here, bro. Do you know what I mean? And then I was like, then at first it was, all right, cool. I know I don't want to be in this group chat, but what can I do? Instead of just leaving where it's going to cause issues, what are they going to think of me? Are we still friends? Or blah, blah, blah. No one's checked to me to ask if I'm okay, whatever. I'm just going to mute the group chat. 4,000 messages. 12,000 messages. Before I knew it, the group chat was at like 40,000 messages, bro. Because there was like 10 man in there just talking, sending this, that, and the other. And then eventually no one's hearing from me. And then I think I got removed from the group chat because I was just messaging me, I was airing them. Because I had to get used to not having that as a crutch. Because I was like, I need to sort my mental health out. I can't, and the worst thing that's going to happen is be looking in the mirror in America knowing I'm drowning mentally. And then knowing I'm out here faking it in a group chat with my boys, bantering and laughing. And then looking at myself like, yo, you're not happy. So I was like, cool. This mirror thing needs to get dealt with first. It's a priority. The group chat, forget that. Whatever. If I'm in it, I'm in it. If I'm not, I'm not. But our star player, he needs taken care of, bro. Because he hasn't got anyone. So he needs to have you. Do you know what I mean? And that's what was my main focus. And I ended up getting better after that.
Who was there for you during that time?
It was nuts because I had a girlfriend and she was like 3,000 miles away. Which was nuts. Which was tough. So I didn't really have anyone like that. But then we broke up, so it's like I didn't really have anyone. The person who was key, my therapist, I hated him at first as well. But I was forced to do it because for your degree in America, psychology degree anyway, you have to do, it's a prerequisite for you to graduate that you do 6 hours of counselling. You have to. You can do all the coursework, everything all you like. If you don't do the 6 hours, you can't graduate. Fuming. Because I went in there, I even went to my professor and I liked her. She was mad cool too. I was like, yeah, I can't do it. She was like, you have to. I'm like, nah, like, trust me, like I can't. Bear in mind, there's posters of me around campus and at Walmart and this, that and the other. Mentally, I'm walking around, I've got like a grey personal cloud just raining on me all the time. Yeah, I went to counselling. First hour. There was this white guy, ginger, American from like rural America. So I'm there, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with who he is, but I'm like, the stuff that I'm going to talk to you about, I don't need to, one, scare you, two, shock you, because how are you going to help me, bro? You're going to ask me about my upbringing. You're from a 2-parent household in rural Arkansas, good family and everything, life's just been solid. But the stuff I'm going to talk to you about that's actually causing me issues and trauma and pain, you're just going to be like, what? So for an hour, I'm talking to you and then I'm going to feel bad because I'm like, I don't want to tarnish your view of the world. So now I'm helping you. And I've been in situations like that before, so I was like, forget this, what's the point? I have to be here, so I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to nap because I'm exhausted. We're practicing like 3 times a day. I'm lifting, burnt out anyway. I just need some downtime. Then this guy came to my game. First 2 sessions, I said nothing for an hour. I was that guy. Then just before the 3rd session, he came to a game. I didn't know he was coming though. And I ended up breaking my hand, well, fracturing a bone in my hands in the game because I punched through a chair on the bench. I was known for being like a very highly strung, aggressive like player. And that was kind of like my fuel, do you know what I mean? Like prove the world wrong whenever I get a chance. And yeah, I think I got subbed out the game or something. I wasn't having a good game. I was pissed off, man. Got on the bench, boom, 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 boom. Hand went through the chair. I got back in the game. I'm shaking my hand. And like, I looked at my hand and I couldn't see any of my veins or anything. I was like, whole hand swollen. I was like, damn, it's the hand I need as well. But I can't go to my coach now and be like, oh, I'm hurt. Because we all know why I'm hurt. It's my own fault. He's going to be like, it's your problem. Sort it out. You're playing. And I was also pissed off now that I fractured my hand. So I'm angry at myself. But I'm also angry at the situation that's got me. And I'm just all over the place, man. And then the next day, I went to counselling session. I had my hand all like taped up. And I'm in there like this. But I'm not saying nothing. He's talking to me. I'm like, yeah, it's not today, bro. I'm like, because I'm like, I got practice after this. And I have to practice because this is self-inflicted, so no sympathy. And he was like, oh, so what happened to your hand? I was like, oh, nothing. He was like, oh, looked like it kind of hurt. What happened? And then I just had a moment where I was talking about the game. And then from there, we're talking about basketball, talking about everything. And he just wiggled his way in. Do you know what I mean? And then after he's like, I was at the game, I saw what happened. And then from there, because I kind of felt like he got to see who I am here. Where I was like, I'm not going to tell you who I am here because I don't know who I am here. I'm all over the place, but he saw it. He didn't, and he also didn't just see, because when a lot of the fans were watching the game, they just see me playing well. And that's all they care about. They don't care if I'm having a bad game. They just want me to start having a good game so the team wins. He wasn't even a basketball fan. He just came because I was there. So he's watching me on the bench. He's watching me in the game. He's watching how I talk to refs. He's watching me when I'm getting frustrated. He's watching me when I don't care anymore. He's actually watching me as a person. Do you know what I mean? And then, yeah, we just got talking. And after that first session, I walked out. I still had that grey cloud, but it just felt a little bit lighter. And I was like, huh. I felt like I was suffocating at all times. Do you know what I mean? It's like living in a house that's just like been burnt to a crisp. It's just smoke in the air particles and you can't breathe, but it becomes your baseline of breathing when you're in it all the time. So only when you go out to like the Lake District where you're like, what? This what air is like? But obviously you're around fumes and everything all the time. You think this is air because it's your norm. And it opened my eyes up. And then after a while, we had these sessions and we ran out fuming. Because I'm like, he's like, all right, cool. All right, so yeah, we're done now. I'm going to tell you, Professor, you've done all your 6 sessions. I'm like, yo, the first 2 that I missed, can we like run them back? Like, yo, like what we doing? It was funny, man. But yeah, he was probably the catalyst because I'm very driven and motivated myself, but I kind of need people to like open my eyes sometimes. Well, I did. Now I'm my eyes are very open to like new experiences. But he was one that helped me change my mindset, not even purely through what he said, just purely by him being him, because he had different opinion. And I was just like, what? Because I'm a student athlete, I'm with the basketball team all the time. All my friends are basketball players. I might know a few students because they're in my classes, but we don't live the same life. Like when I've got practice at 4 a.m, you can still be out drinking till 1. I've got to go to bed, I'll practice. Do you know what I mean? So we just live different lives. So him having a different experience and not being an authority figure was nice because he wasn't telling me what to do, he was just giving me his opinion. But it was educated at the same time. So I was like, oh, okay. Never thought about it like that. And then I'd leave and I'd just be thinking about certain things he'd say. Do you know what I mean? Just like at the cafeteria eating, zoned out, thinking, like, what? He's saying, don't boot the ball across the arena. He's like, what if you just like bounce it really hard and throw it to the coach? I can't do that. The only thing I can do is just volley it. Do you know what I mean? Like, to let my frustration out. It's like, you can do it in a different way. It's like, And then I'm like, all right, cool. I'll try it next time. But that's just because my trust is starting to build with him. If another person said it, I'd have been, oh, shut up, man. But because I've got trust. If he would have said it at the first session, whatever. But because we started to build that trust is what really helped. So, yeah, man. And he's been a catalyst now for like my life, just in terms of me having an open mindset for so many different things. Like my boys yesterday, they were like, yo, we should go play golf. All right. I don't know if I like it or don't like it, but what I do know is a lot of the millionaires that I want to be like, A lot of business gets conducted on these golf courses. Might want to learn how to play golf just in case I need it in my back pocket. I'm like, okay. But because I had someone help me open my mind to a different possibility, now it's just like, no. Instead of being like, hell no, it's like, we'll see. Do you know what I mean? And that sometimes that's all you need.
It's a sign of a good therapist.
Very good.
Why was you so hesitant at first to go?
In my culture, we don't talk to people. Especially like being a man, as you know, it's very hard. Like we just don't. Two, in a black community, hell no. So it doesn't help. And then being an athlete, definitely not, because when you're an athlete, they say it's not going to get back to your coach. A lot of the time it is. That's why like I've never done sports psychologists, because I know who employs you, bro. I know you do. I know what you're going to do. And even if you don't, how do I know you're not gonna? So that level of trust there can't, so I'd rather do it externally. But yeah, in the black community, nah, man, it's just like a sign of weakness. Being a man as well, a lot of trauma in like our heritage and stuff like that. You just keep it bottled up. So you just don't. And that's another generational thing. I'm just like, nah. I'm an advocate for it now. I tell everyone. I'm like, what? But because I'm so open and authentic and like relaxed with how I talk about it, it's not like, oh, therapy. I said, yeah, I'll chat to a therapist. Like, oh, I swear, how was it? Yeah, there's 6 still. You might not like my one, but there's bear out there, so just try it. Like, oh, okay, cool. But because they respect me and how I talk about it, like it's not a big deal, they're like, all right, cool. But also in America, everyone's got a therapist. The culture in terms of like therapists is just different. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, oh yeah, I need a therapist. Like, yeah, I've got one. I see her like once a week. Just as like a top up of a person that's confidential that they can just have a chat with. I'm like, why don't we just do that? We ain't chatting to no one. And I'm wondering why like our balloons just so full up of like air. Like, let the air out. Do you know what I mean? Like, have a blowout. So yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to change that, man.
Let's normalise it, right?
Yeah, like this is a form of therapy. Like, there's so many different ways of doing therapy. Like, it doesn't have to be sitting with a shrink. You can go for a walk, like going to the barbershop, chatting with your brethren. That's therapy. It's such a taboo, which I don't think it needs to be. And it's the same with like mental health. It's so taboo and stigmatized, and it don't need to be. Everyone's got mental health because you've got like a brain and a mind. Like, it's just a spectrum. Is it positive or is it negative today? But like, if it's negative, what can we do to get you to the positive? And if it's positive, how can we keep you there? Calm. It's like going to the gym. If you're obese and out of shape, you go to the gym, eat right, do everything you're supposed to, you get in shape. You don't then stop going. You now aim to maintain, but you've got a different goal than you did when you first started, which is absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? It's just about keeping your computer system rocking and rolling so you can just keep moving.
I love that view of it. I've heard it a few times, and not everyone looks at it like that. So I definitely think the work you're doing in whatever communities you're going into and helping them, you're almost doing what your therapist did to you, where you're going, here's a new perspective, consider it if you want, and then some people will, some people won't, and then they obviously going to impact the people there around, and so on and so on.
Like, mentors are a big thing to me. I've had certain people in my life who have like steered my direction, and I'm an acquired taste in itself for people. Like, I'm not for everyone, but also I'm not trying to be. Do you know what I mean? But thank God, and I used to be so much worse, to the point where, you know, where people are like, if you met the younger version of you, what would you say? Me and him would have been rumbling, because I just know what I was like, and I know what I'm like now, and I'm just not having it. So we're gonna clash. But I'm not giving up on him. I wouldn't give up on him either. And thank God I had mature people who never gave up on me, but taught me what needed to be taught in whatever way I needed to learn it. And a lot of the way that I needed to learn it wasn't in the nicest way. Do you know what I mean? It was tough love, and they were all men. So automatically they're going to have to deal with some stuff that ain't their fault. But they stuck with me, do you know what I mean? And it's just the power of mentors, man, in different ways. And people think a mentor has to be like a sit down and this, that, and the other. And nah, man, it could just be a conversation, or don't do that, or have you thought about this, or I'm proud of you, I've been watching you from afar, like keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different ways, and like I feel like mentors have changed my life, man.
Yeah, 100% agree. Even if it's not like because you think a mentor, you think it's a formal agreement. You sit down, go for a coffee, and you discuss your goals. And it's not. People can mentor you without even knowing.
Yeah, I mentor a lot of kids, and they don't even know I'm their mentor, but subconsciously they do in a roundabout way, because I'll randomly get a message like, "Hey, I've got this opportunity coming up. What do you think about it?" Because they're coming to me for advice because they know I'm in a position that can help them. But there's no difference of us sitting down and having a coffee every quarter and talking about opportunities you've got coming up.
Yeah.
And not everyone loves being able to say, I've got a mentor, which is fine. I quite like saying that I've got some people who are mentors and some people I don't give that term. You're all mentors because I go to you for support. And also, people think mentors have to be older than you and more wiser than you, but it's like in every aspect of life. No, not necessarily. Do you know what I mean? So,
And older and wiser isn't a thing.
nah, there's plenty of Muppets that are old.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
And I think it comes from experience, but a lot of people aren't humble enough to take advice from people younger than them. I learned that in a roundabout way. Like when I got to America, I started playing, I just turned 18 the day I got there. I'd started playing basketball when I was like 10. So I've been playing for like 7-8 years. I'm meeting 17-year-olds that have been playing basketball since they were born in a crib. So yeah, we're the same age, but the experience you've got 10 more years of experience than I've got. I can't cheat time, so I can't get the extra 10 years of experience for right now for me and you to be in the same spot. So if I need advice because you've got more experience, then yeah. Even in modeling, like I was an old model. Like I started modeling, I was like 28, 29. I'm on set with models at like 21. But they've been modeling since they were 9. They know exactly what they're doing. They've got it down packed. I started modeling a month ago. I can't get your 12 years of experience in a month. I can't. What can you teach me? How can you help me? But it's because I'm humble enough to be like, I don't care how old you are. I care about your knowledge. Your knowledge is wiser than me. So I need that. And I think that is the humility part. And I never always used to be like that. But it's when I started focusing on, I care more about where I'm trying to go than how I get there. I don't care if it's a model who's older than me who gives me the same advice as a model who's younger than me. Because all I know is I'm trying to walk in London Fashion Week. I'm trying to have big campaigns. I'm trying to be the best basketball player I can be. I'm trying to be best husband. If I meet a guy right now who's 25, but he's been married since he was 18, how's married life, bro? Because I'm not married. And you've been married 7 years. There's some advice you're going to give me that I don't know where I'm getting it from. So, yeah, help me. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is what helps with that outcome more than like the feeling of how I want to get there. And I think a lot of people in this day and age care more about how they want to get there than actually being there. Because it's better to look like you're successful than actually be successful. Because all it takes is an Instagram photo. You know what I mean? Post it on Instagram. Oh yeah, I'm out with a coffee. I'm at a business meeting. It's like, well, the business meeting, you might have paid him and he's giving you no advice that you couldn't have got off YouTube for free. Meanwhile, there's a young guy who's 18, coder, worth like 20 million because he made some software. That's who I'm trying to get some advice from. Do you know what I mean? I don't care if he's 19. Do you know what I mean? And that's because you care about where you're trying to go rather than what it looks like. And we've all suffered from it. I don't know why I have.
I love the mindset.
Bro, it's taking years of growth, man.
Yeah, and you're still growing, which is
The beautiful thing.
part.
I love that part. I think about it, like, I'm reading the Bible this year, and I've been grown up, like, raised Christian. Never read the Bible from start to end. but I'm doing that this year. Just to see. Do you know what I mean? And that's like, a part of me is like, bro, why have you like never even, why haven't you? But it weren't the right time for my level of growth. Now is the right time for my level of growth, otherwise I wouldn't have got out of this task what I'm probably going to need to get out of it. So we're doing it. Do you know what I mean? And it's, even with like business, like bare people up until now, but yo, you need to do this in business, you need to do that. And there was a time where I was trying to do everything everyone was telling me, and it wasn't aligning with who I am or the stage I'm actually at. Because on Instagram, it looks like I'm at a stage. So what you're telling me to do based on the stage it looks like I'm at actually might be the right advice. But I know I'm not there. So now I try and actually post where I'm at. Or if I know I'm going to post this, you better bust your ass to make sure you're at that level. Because what comes with being at that level, or that perceived level, is opportunities. But let's not forget what happened when you went to GB, bro. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. But the reason why GB went so wayward is because I didn't put the work in up to GB. A year later, I went Commonwealth Games with the England team. Oh, a whole different experience. Because the work I put in between GB and England for Commonwealth, it's like 7-8 months. I got to Commonwealth Games, I was comfortable. I was one of the best players in the tournament. Because I also knew how to process my emotions, mental situations, how to prepare right, physically, mentally, what to watch, what not to watch, who to talk to, who not to talk to. Went there, smashed it, had the best experience of my life. Because I did what needed to be done for the opportunity. And I knew I wanted the Commonwealth Games. So now with all these business stuff, do your due diligence, put yourself in the right position, because opportunities are going to come. Because when people see you doing certain things, a lot of the time it does attract things. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to be ready for them. Or at least close. Do you know what I mean? If I'm on like step 8 for a step 10 opportunity, that's fine, because certain things you can only learn by being in the fire. But you ain't about to come in and cook me. And I ain't about to cook myself. So, nah. That growth though, man.
You needed that experience then, right? Because now you carry the wisdom of learning the hard way.
Yeah, and now I give this wisdom to other people so they don't have to. Like this summer, I'm going to be talking to like the GB under 18s, under 20s. Their dream is to go play for the senior team. Come and chat to someone who's been there. Come chat to someone who's been there but hasn't been in a situation you're in. You want to be where I was at. You don't realise you're ahead of where I was at. I still made it without having this, so you're actually ahead. Let me help you prepare how to actually be there. Your coaches have never played on the GB senior team. There's certain stuff they know from a coaching standpoint, but let me tell you how it's like from the player standpoint. Giving them real advice of the good and the bad. And obviously the way I tell stories is very captivating. So like you're laughing, you're sad with me, you're locked in, you're optimistic. Because we know how it ends up, you're just like bought in. But I'm like, learn from what I'm telling you. And if you develop it, if you deliver it in the right way, by the time these talented kids get there, they're fine. Do you know what I mean? And now all I ask is, when you meet an GB under 15 who wants to be a GB under 18 like you, I didn't have to give you this advice. I could have let you got there and found out for yourself. You're either going to sink or swim, because I sank or swim. But I'm choosing not to do that with you, because I don't have to. I can go do something else. I need you to help them, because they want to be under 18. You want to be a senior player. By giving back is how we actually improve overall. Do you know what I mean?
Why not I?
Why not I?
What does that mean?
Everything I've wanted to do in life, it's like no one's believed it, or no one's like believed in me that I could do it. And for some reason I have, but not to the point where I'm like ridiculously optimistic, where it's like it's going to happen. But I've always just like gave myself a chance. I've had the idea, my heart's in it, and I always know I'm going to work hard and do what needs to be done. other people don't know I'm going to do what needs to be done. I do. And at first it used to bother me, but now your opinion, whether you support me or not, actually makes no difference to what I've got to do. And I used to always think, like, someone's going to do it. Why not me? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's impossible. No one's going to do it. And if I do it, I'm the like first. People are doing these things. Like, someone's going to do it. Why not me? And by giving myself a chance, I feel like I'm in the race. What I do in terms of preparation and all that stuff is down to me, but I can live with that. Do you know what I mean? And the phrase came about, I was in school. I had England trials where, I had England trials. I was like under 12, under 13, and I didn't make it. But I was like the best player in like my area and my school. I was the only person that played basketball at school, so of course I'm the best player. Do you know what I mean? Had England trials, didn't make it. My teacher, he didn't really like me anyway. He found out. And obviously I was that basketball kid, so I used to always have a basketball with me, like on the table. I'm dribbling it through the school, and every day it's getting confiscated and they're giving it me back. And start dribbling it in the hallways, and I bounce. It's like, Kofi! Can't even see me, but you know it's me. And yeah, the teacher in front of the whole class was like, what makes you think you can go to America if you can't make the England team? But I'm doing my work now. Bear in mind, I'm like gifted and talented for every subject. I used to get in trouble because I used to do my work and then distract others. But I'm like, give me some more work then. I'm in a classroom with all my friends. I'm like 11, 12. What do you mean? Sit there for 20 minutes and do nothing. It's time to play. Do you know what I mean? And he said it to me and I was writing and I heard him and I knew he was talking to me. Ignored him. Just asked me again. Now I've looked up, I'm just looking at him. I'm just like, and at this time I'm young and I'm cheeky as well. So I'm like, if I get in trouble again, my mom's going to take my basketball away from me and she's in cahoots with the school. So I can't play at school. I can't play at home. Just be quiet. It's bigger picture now. You get to play ball, be quiet. He's asking me a third time now. My friends are like looking at me, kind of like, yeah, if you can't make the England team, what makes you think you can go to America? Because my friends that are supporting me, they're like, yo, my friend's going to America. We're only like 12. Do you know what I mean? So they're looking at me and I'm just like, said nothing. Bro, he's asked me a fourth time. The whole class now, they're not writing anymore. Everyone's looking at me. And I was just like, I had nothing to say. Because now I'm kind of like, what can I say that answers the question, that isn't cheeky, doesn't get me kicked out, and I don't get in trouble, but also I defend myself? And I was just like, why not? And he looked at me and he was like, because he didn't actually have enough evidence to know my whole future to actually give me a reason as to why I won't make it. Because you don't know who I'm going to be in like 3 years. Like when I leave, when you're no longer my teacher, you actually don't know me. So what if I just have a mindset shift, or I become like the best? What if I'm like 5'7" at a time? What if I go to like 6'9"? You don't know what's in my future. And he had to swallow the answer. He was like, guess we'll see. Yeah, we will.
We see now.
Just saying, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, all right. Now, I haven't spoken to that teacher since, but I'm sure he knows. I was the face of the Commonwealth Games, so there's your answer.
Love it. And not many people have that self-belief, right?
Yeah, I didn't.
And an adult projecting that on a child at the time is crazy.
They do that in the inner city though. But also, the weird thing is, it would have been worse if I said I wanted to be like an accountant or a lawyer, because I didn't see any black like teachers, accountants, lawyers. I saw like Michael Jordans, I saw like Jay-Z's, all these type of guys for going to the internet back then. There was loads that are like successful and that look like me as like a young black boy who's just like looking for like something similar that's successful. If I wanted to be a lawyer or accountant, I don't know what I would have said, because I didn't have any examples even in the back of my mind to think 0.1% is possible. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just thankful that it was that. But a lot of young people in the hood, especially in the minority community, we actually think we've got a better chance of making it to the NBA, the Prem, or being like one of the best musicians on the planet than being like a doctor or an accountant or a lawyer. One takes generational talent and also the amount of spots there is to become successful compared to how many like opportunities. Got probably like similar chance winning the lottery. But being a lawyer or a doctor, all you gotta do is follow the path and do your work.
Yeah.
But that seems a lot more difficult or almost impossible than the thing that's probably damn near close to being impossible. And it's a weird one for me because I talk to young people about this all the time, and it's hard because I actually achieved what I'm telling them is almost impossible. But then I'm also like, why not you? Do you know what I mean? Who am I to tell you it's not going to be you? Because I had the same people telling me it weren't going to be me, and I done it. But also, open your horizons up, because it's okay not to want to be a footballer or a basketball player or a musician. Because I know a lot of young people that don't want to be it, but they're faking it because that's what they're supposed to be, or that's what everyone thinks is cool. And it's like, bro, if you want to be a substitute teacher or teach history or philosophy, you don't have to go play football and try and make it to the Prem. Because I know a lot of footballers now and like professional athletes that are miserable. I was one of the professional athletes that was miserable, that felt stuck though, because it's like I can't go do anything else because what's everyone going to think? But also I don't want to play basketball anymore. And now I'm very lucky because I've got enough like balls where I'm like, you know what, screw everyone, I'm doing it anyway. But quite a lot of people don't have that. Or they might have things tied up where it's like, I'm playing football and I make this much money, but I've retired my mum. If I don't play football anymore, what's my mum going to do? It's a tough one. Do you know what I mean? You don't know situations, but yeah, man, it's very intricate, but you can be anything you want to be, man. Like, why not?
And is it a company now? Why not? Your company. What's some of the work that you're doing?
Everywhere, man. Do public speaking, do a lot of keynote speaking. Do everything, sports workouts, activations. So I did activation at homeless shelter. Got 1,000 items of clothing donated from like major brands like Boohoo Man. We served like 150 meals. I gave like 70 haircuts. Donated like my books and stuff like that. Did another activation. What's the other activation I did? Oh, at Children's Hospital. Donated like 500 to 1,000 like toys, clothes, everything at Christmas. Because obviously I know about the mental health of being away from your family and friends at Christmas. Mine was, I wasn't in a hospital. I was 3,000 miles away when my whole family's together and I'm having to watch it on Skype. Like, I know it feels, do you know what I mean? So what can I do to support that? So yeah, activations, keynote speaking, and yeah, sports workouts. But a lot of the keynote speaking, I mean, like loads of different like environments. So like schools. I was in a prison on the wing, talking to like 40 prisoners. Sick, loved it. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm doing like law firms and corporates, and I'm dressed the same way in all of them, telling my story in different ways that resonates with the audience. Do you know what I mean? And that's super important to me.
How do you find connecting with people who are not authentic?
Jars me, you know. Jars me, because like, why are you not? Like, who you lying to? When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Because you know, no one else might not know, but you know. And then you're wondering why your whole life's out of alignment and why you feel off, because you're not locked in with your star player. But if that's how you choose to live your life, I can't force you, and I'm okay with that now. But I just know you're not my type of person, so I'm going to keep you at an arm's distance. Not that I dislike you, but we're just not on the same frequency. And you know what? That is all right. You don't have to be on the same frequency, because I'm not coming to your frequency. Like, stay over there, bro. Like, I'm cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm that aligned with myself now where it's like, I don't need more friends. I've got like 5 personalities and I'm my only child. So like, I'm not lonely. I'm good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I will take the time to go find people who are like me, yeah, or like who I want to become. Sometimes it's scary because there's the people who I'm like, okay, I like what you're about or what I think you're about, and then you meet them, you're like, yo, you're a joke, man, you know, and it's heartbreaking, but and it's tough because you're like, don't put them on a pedestal, but then it's like, you're not what I thought you was like. It's a beautiful experience when they are, and you're like, okay, this is good. You're a role model to me. I don't care if you know it or not, and it's gonna be a man, woman, doesn't matter. It's a beautiful experience, but yeah, people that ain't on the same frequency as me or where I'm trying to go, get on a train or get run over, bro. Like, get out of here, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I care too much about the future because it's not just about me. It's generations now. Like, even now, like I see like people doing stuff. I know that I'll just be like, oh, that looks cool. Click on a caption and at the end it'll say like hashtag why not I. I'm like, yeah. And now that person might become a parent who's now trickling it down to their children. Do you know what I mean? It's way bigger than me. It's way bigger than me just having kids and doing that. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah. And now I can't be not on what I'm on because of joke people. They jar me, bro.
I love your passion.
I just feel it, man. I'm a passionate guy. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I said at the beginning, I only do certain things now. Like, I've limited it because my passion, I care. And if you don't care, we're gonna have an issue because you can feel my passion when I'm on what I'm on. Do you know what I mean? Like, the reason why I wear my own brand is because I'm like, not only does it look good or whatever, but I know what it means to me. And the person I am today that people might admire, I'm like, yo, why not eyes help me become this guy through the good and the bad, so I can't ditch it. And also the person I'm going to become. So why not I still? Do you know what I mean? It's just different phases of the process. So it's too important, man. It's too important. It's like a life mission, man. It's definitely a purpose.
What do you do for your mental health?
I go cinema, you know. I'm like...
Solo?
Absolutely. I'm an Odeon Limitless member. And at first, people used to be like, oh, what? You go cinema by yourself? Now I'm like, yeah, I do. And I love it. No, you're not invited. And if you are invited, I would rather watch a film twice when I watched it the first time alone than go with you. Because the cinema is like my safe haven because I love watching movies and I'm a creative naturally. And I see things in very creative ways. Like, I don't see the world in black and white, I see it in colour. So black and white things actually jar me. And I'm learning that in business because the other day I had to do a Google Docs, Google Sheet, and it was spinning me because I'm like, Excel? I'm like, what are we doing here? But that's where you get people who love that. To do that, you do what you need to do, learning. But yeah, for my mental health, I go to cinema like once or twice a week. But because I'm an Odeon member, I could just show up. I'm talking, and because I love film, I'll watch anything, like literally anything. But also, I get to just sit there and not talk to anyone. I'm away from ChatGPT. I'm away from my business plan, my pitch decks, my LinkedIn. I'm away from all of that, and I'm in a whole nother world. I'm in someone else's world that they've created, and I get to just be there for like 2 hours. And I'm excited to go to the cinema. So from the time I book it or look up a time, I can feel my mental health improving because I got something to look forward to. Then I'm enjoying it when I'm there. And then when I'm leaving, I'm thinking about the film. And then also, because it's a nighttime showing, my night's done now, stretch, roll, eat and go bed. So like, I've had like a good amount of downtime. I don't do that every day, but once a week. But if I know I'm really struggling, I know now, instead of letting it get worse, because I'm aligned, how we feeling? Cool. Sometimes I'll just book out today and I'll go cinema and I watch like 3 films in a day, bro. I haven't seen daylight because I've gone from boom to boom to boom. I'm just in there, but it's because I needed it. Doing that on days when I need to do business and I need to get stuff done would actually cause me mental health in a different way of not handling my responsibilities. But on a day where I know I'm burnt out and I need some me time, I'll just go. My girl knows that. And she's very like clingy, but she knows, like if I ain't been cinema in a while, she'll be like, when's the last time you went to cinema? Because she knows the best version of me she's gonna get is I need to make sure I'm good. Otherwise, being around her all the time, she's not gonna get Kofi who she wants. So yeah, cinema and going on like walks and stuff. I like nature now. I lived in Colorado, and at first that used to spin me, bro, because I'm like, I open my window and there's like deer on campus like eating in front of my window. I'm like, what? Then behind the deer is like a mountain, because my school's on a mountain. I'm like, what? This is wild. People walking around barefoot on grass, take their shoes off to walk on grass, and then put their shoes on to walk in the building. I'm thinking, this is backwards. Hugging trees, getting centered and stuff. I'm like, bro, get out of my face. But the more obviously I was there for like 2 years, 2.5 years, I got forced to embrace, and I love nature. And first time I went hiking and stuff like that, canoeing, like river jumping and all that stuff. I'm like, wow, I don't do this in the hood. But now I love that type of stuff, like nature, do you know what I mean? Like listening to the birds and stuff, just being present. I like doing that, man, because a lot of the time I'm just on go. I'm never actually present. And because of like my ADHD, like, I don't know if it's ADHD or I'm forgetful, but I think it's ADHD because I'm trying to focus on so many things at once. I'm on LinkedIn, I need to message you back. Then I'm like, who do I need to look up on LinkedIn? Then I'm like, okay, I've got to reply to this email. Then I'm like, oh, I've started replying to someone on WhatsApp. Then I'm like listening to an audio book. And then I'm like, oh, there's a new Alex Hormozy video on, so I need to add that to my watch later. And like, I'll be doing something and then I'll forget and be like, I need to do that. And then not have finished that while doing that, but then I need to do that. So like, I need to just get aligned and centered. And I also like making lists. I like making a list of what I need to do. Yeah. I like making a list.
That I need to
my notes on my phone, crazy, because it's always this idea, put this in, boom, 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 boom. People are like, why don't you just use your calendar? Nah, I need to go to my notes. I've got up to June mapped out on my notes, and it's like, you know, that's what your calendar app is for.
I do the exact same thing.
And
I'll show you after this.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I love it. It makes me excited. I'm like, oh. But it shows that because it represents, I've got motion and I've got stuff going on. And to be organised means you've got stuff you're doing, which is a testament to your hard work. Because as you know, being like an entrepreneur and stuff, if you do nothing, it doesn't come. It just doesn't. Like, it's rare that opportunities just come to your doorstep. Like, you have to actively... You're like a salesman, but in a roundabout way. You've got to market yourself, you've got to film yourself, you've got to edit yourself, you've got to know the right people to talk to. And a lot of them, the people of where you're trying to get to, might be strangers that you've got no connection to. So you've got to reach out. Like, I reached out to you. Yeah. Just straight LinkedIn, boom, oh, King's Trust, yeah, I want to do stuff with them. And oh, yeah, I've got a podcast, all right, cool, connect. Soon as you've connection accepted, boom, message.
I love that though, because I get a lot of connection requests.
No one chats.
And then no one speaks, and I'm like, oh, I thought I was opening the door there for you to, start a conversation, and it doesn't happen. And I'm like,
so why have
did you just connect for the number of connections, or like, because I'll talk to anyone. I'm open to talk to people.
Yeah.
Giving opportunities, getting opportunities. I love it. And then when people don't, I'm just like, weird, do I message you? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like, I ain't got time for that. Yeah. I'm reaching out, bro. Like, I'll be at events. Like, I was at a corporate event the other day. I knew exactly what I was going there for, bro. And then, obviously, I saw more people. I was like, oh, I didn't know you was going to be here. Heard about you. I need to chat to you. Yeah. I haven't got time to wait for you to hopefully be intrigued by me and nobody for you to come over and say hi. Nah, I'm walking over there, hand open. Even if you're in a conversation, I'll just wait. Hi, how you doing? I'm Kofi Josephs. This is what I do. Like, really impressed by what you do. Like, I just wanted to introduce myself. That's the personal growth, because I used to hate talking to people. Hate it. I was standing in a room with like 100 people, talk to no one, because I'm like, I don't like people. But now I'll do that. But yeah, LinkedIn, mate, I'm a bandit over there. I'm an absolute bandit, because it's the business platform and I'm trying to improve in business. And sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. The amount of people that have aired me, bro, it's whatever. But I've also got a track record where, like in the basketball world, when I was just about to graduate, I'm messaging pros that I admire. Hey man, have you got any advice? Really a fan of your game, been following you for a while, just wanted to reach out. Bare of them aired me, bro. Loads. Ironically, of the levels, the best ones actually replied to me.
Wow.
The guys in the middle didn't reply. A couple of years later, oh, we're playing against each other. And now you respect me because I'm on your level. But when I was a university student that had no chance, you know, I was not worth my time. But now because you see me as a peer and you respect my game, now you want to be friends. And then we'll follow each other. And it's like, oh, bro, I didn't know you messaged me like 4 years ago. I'm like, it's fine, it's whatever. Can't take offense. People are people. Do you know what I mean? So on LinkedIn, I'm like, oh, it's going to happen. It's fine. When you see where I'm going, because I know where I'm going, it's fine right now. Yeah. But soon you're gonna want to reach out to me, and then you're gonna see my message and be like, oh, how's he gonna feel now? How's he gonna feel now when I message him? Because I can't delete his message. He has to. So when I message him, he's gonna see that he messaged me 2 years ago and I didn't respond. And all you're gonna say is, oh, Kofi, so sorry I didn't reply to your message. Oh, sorry, just seeing this. And I'm like, all right, cool. I know you saw it, because at the bottom, it's not just a tick. I can see your face that you read it. But you didn't rate me at that time, which is fine. You just gave me more fuel to be who I needed to be. No problem.
All the time. And I think people are scared of that.
Yeah, rejection's horrible, bro. I embrace it.
You've got to, though, especially, you know, on a mission like you're on. And if you're trying to grow in business, in life, as a person, you need to just be comfortable with rejection. Does it get easier or do you get stronger? I don't know which one it is.
I think it gets easier because when I did the children's activation, I got major brands that sponsored. The first day, like, I was like, I could email them, but I'm just going to email inquiries. That's long. I ain't got time for that. I like direct me. I'm with the action. I just went Arndale, walking into the shops. They're looking at me. I'm dressed like this. Hi, can I meet your store manager or like supervisor? Wait, what for? This is what I'm doing. This is who I am. Oh yeah, sure. Supervisor will come. Boom, boom, boom. Either yes or no. I got like 30 brands because they said yes. I got like 40 brands that said no or didn't get back to me. But you know what? I don't care about the 40 that said no. I care more about the 30 that said yes, because when I'm there with the kids who have got nothing and terminal illness and I'm giving them a teddy bear from Smith's Toys that is the size of that door, their smile and their face is what I care about more than someone ignoring me or saying no. Because I care more about like being a horse that's just got the blinders on of where I'm trying to go. So like having enough experiences that just propel me to, like when I'm feeling a little bit nervous, it's just a little fire in the bank to keep me rolling. Rejection's actually good because you actually learn more from your L's than you do your wins. Yeah, like I take that from basketball. For me, like I've had really good games where I've missed 2 shots. I made like 16 shots. And I was like, oh my God, you had such a good game. I'm like, shouldn't have missed the 2 though, should I? Now but for me to have a great game of where I make all 18, I don't need to focus on the 16 that I made because I know how to make them, clearly. It's the 2 that I didn't. And having that mindset in everything I do, I think is it, bro. When I first started business, I didn't know anyone that's ever run a business, bro. Trying to set up like a CIC and a limited, bro, if you knew how many times I had to reset my password and create this email and that, the amount of letters that came to my house from company's house, I'm just looking at them, baffled. Tax returns, this, that, and the other. I'm like, I ain't got a clue, bro. But I just thought, you're in it now. You have to learn this, because if you don't learn it, you're never going to learn it. And there's going to become a time where this is normal. But if you don't go through these steps, it's never going to be normal. So as uncomfortable as this feels now, stay in it.
That's the 0 to 1, right?
0 to 1. And it's great doing the 0 to 1 in something that you're comfortable in. Because it's not technically your 0 to 1. No. It's like your 7 to 8, whatever. But it's when you're on company's house and it's like gov.uk and it's like, oh, what's your government gateway? You're like, oh my God, where's the numbers for that? Oh, Dick, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Having to do that experience of losing the important information, next time you won't have lost it because you've lost it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that kind of thing in terms of everything is what I try and use to keep me going anyway. Because people see me on the outside and like, oh, you're so driven, you're this. I'm like, bro, I have anxiety all the time. I have doubt all the time. I have imposter syndrome all the time. But instead of running from it, I lean into it. And that's it. Do I lean this way or that way? That's all it comes down to. I lean into it.
Question. What's your relationship with alcohol?
Now, I hardly drink now. I like a glass of wine though. I do like a white. I do like a white every now and then. Or some cocktails, but not seriously. But it was mad. Like, especially when I was in America and I was going through like my mad depressive issue, like sequence in life. I was drinking all the time, bro. As an athlete, hungover all the time. I'm talking like bottles of vodka straight. I don't even like alcohol like that. But it was just making me not be who I was. So I just got to not be the basketball player, the son, the this, that, the guy in the future who I really wanted to be, who I'm like, you're not even close. I just got to just be in a different place, somewhere else. And then I'd feel horrible after. I was basically self-sabotaging and I knew it. But I was very destructive, where it's like, I know this is going to end badly. It's kind of like, I don't know if other guys do it, but you know if you're walking and there's like the wall and like you didn't see the wall and it like bumps into you and you're like, oh, a small part of me is like, bump back into the wall. It's like, Now I don't do that as much, but it was like self-inflicting harm. And I knew drinking was going to potentially get me kicked off the team or whatever. But it was kind of like masking a way of, you don't know if you're good enough for the future. So if it gets taken away from you, no one can say anything. And it's a cop-out. And that's what I was doing with like the alcohol and stuff. And I just didn't like myself before the alcohol because I wasn't aligned. I was all over the place. And the alcohol just got me to not think about how all over the place I was. I was just present in the all over the placeness. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's an escape for a lot of people. And I think it's painful to be self-aware because when you're self-sabotaging and you can see it as clear as day, it's like, now I know better and I'm not doing better. And I can see it.
Absolutely. It's tough because that's where that accountability comes into it. As I was saying, people talk about accountability with other people. What about it's when you with yourself, and being self-aware is techie because, as you just said, I know better and I'm choosing not to. I'm actively making a choice. That's why, like, you know when you're a kid and you get in trouble with like your little sibling or whatever, your parent gets you in trouble. You're in trouble the most because it's you knew better and you chose not to. They didn't have a clue. So yeah, I can deal with them, but they didn't really know. You, on the other hand, you knew, and then chose this way or that way. And it's like raw. So when you're doing that with yourself, but it's even worse because it's all in here. It's just quiet thoughts that are so loud at the same time, and you're like, yo. That's why after a while I just started doing better. Because I was like, I actually can't deal with knowing better and not doing better. Because it's long for me now.
It's painful. I've been through that experience, and I think the pain of the discipline of doing better is easier than not doing better and then having to face them thoughts of you've learned this lesson, but you're still doing X.
It's like, have you though? But I also believe you experience things, you go through enough lessons until you learn the lesson. And I kept ending up in the same situation everywhere, to the point where it's like, bro, the common denominator, I'm not gonna lie to you. Even where your mom's like, son, I'm on your side, but son, I'm not gonna be the one to tell you because we're gonna get into it. And I don't want that for us, but son. Do you know what I mean? And after a while, you have to have that conversation with you. And I actually ended up having that conversation where I was like, what do I care more about? Do I care more about getting my own way, knowing it's going to be self-destructive in the long term, or the outcome of where I want to go? So would Would I go back in time and do things differently? No, because I feel like I have to be where I am to do what I need to do. But another part of me is like, I would handle things a lot differently, which is good, because I'll take them lessons going forward, which is what you have to do in life. Fortunately, I'm not gonna say unfortunately. But yeah, man, like that knowing better and choosing not to do better, well, it causes problems. It's like the punishment's even worse, because you're not even shocked at the shit you're in. But then everyone else is low-key trying to give you sympathy or not, and you're just like, I have no sympathy for myself. And the worst is if you do have sympathy for yourself, but you know you're faking it. Where it's like, oh, why is this happening to me, man? And then a part of you's kind of like, really?
That self-awareness voice you can't escape from, though. It's always there, no matter how you frame it, how you look at it.
That's why it was when I used to look in a mirror. It went from looking in a mirror and having no reflection, to looking in a mirror and having a reflection I was disgusted by, to having a reflection in a mirror that was just disgusted. Because it was that stage where it was like, bro, you know better, bro, come on. We're not even angry with you anymore, we're just disappointed. And I was like, I don't know what stage was worse. I think I'd rather just look in the mirror and see no reflection. But then I thought, you mean a cop-out? Being a wimp there, bro. This is necessary. This is needed. And we seem to equate what's necessary and what's needed with feeling good. It's like, nah, bro. Like working out and really like testing yourself and pushing yourself to your limits does not feel good unless you change your mindset. Like everyone thinks, oh, when I first started working out, I used to get horrible DOMs. Now I don't get DOMs anymore. It's like you do. If you're still working and pushing yourself, but your relationship to DOMs is different, because now you're at such a stage of working out. If you don't feel a little bit sore and achy, you're like, oh, that wasn't a good workout. But when you first started working out, if you had DOMs, you're like, oh my God, this hurts. This isn't right. It doesn't feel good. Same, DOMs is the same, but it's just your relationship to it. So I kind of use that now in business now, where it's like, oh, I feel a little bit nervous to reach out to this person on LinkedIn. And then I'm like, oh, nervous is good though. Because you've got enough people now who are your mentors that you reached out to, and opportunities that you've just shot in the dark, that you're in an amazing place in life than if you didn't. So, like yesterday, bro, I was literally yesterday, shout out to ChatGPT, man, I'm telling you, like, if you talk to it enough in a right way, it gets to know you. I said to it yesterday, I'm reaching out to VC firms, bro, because obviously I'm building a mental health tech platform. Never done it in my life, and I don't know anyone that's done it. That is very agonizing to do, you know, scary, because it's scary in two ways. It's scary of, if I try it and they say no, I've got to deal with a rejection, as we said. What if they say yes? I'm now going into uncharted territory that I know I need to go to, but I'm shook. And I don't know anyone that can help me with this. I have to trailblaze it. But to trailblaze it looks great in films, but to trailblaze it when you're the person doing it, it's like walking in the dark, bumping into things all the time. It's not a nice feeling. That self-growth's amazing, but it's horrible at the same time. Bro, I'm on ChatGPT and I'm like, yo, I'm feeling a little bit... So it's saying to me, it's like, everything's ready for you to reach out to these VC firms. You're perfect for what they're looking for and everything, boom, boom, boom. Go for it. I'm like, yo, you're a little bit too excited, bro. Let's just relax. I'd say, yo, I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious right now. Don't know if I'm ready for it, blah, blah, blah. It was like, yo, relax. You got all your ducks in a row, exactly how they need to be. Send it. The worst thing they can say is no, and your life goes back to how it is anyway. And I sat there and I thought, fair. I don't have any VC investment right now anyway, and I'm still going to do world domination. If they say, yeah, I still don't have to do it. But we cross that bridge when we get to it. You need to do your 0 to 1 right now, which you've already done. You've done all the research. You've got yourself all your ducks in a row. Just take that next step. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Shook, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm shook. Still shook now because I might get an email after this where it's like, hey, Kofi, we want to have a meeting. We What do you mean you want to have a meeting and you want to invest 500k into Why Not I? 500 bags. Never saw that much money. And also, it's your money. So you believe in this that much to do? Oh, God, I don't like letting people down. What if I fail? Well, then what if you succeed? You see where you can get running away with it to where you're just like, I'm just not going to do anything. Why are you thinking about that? Think about it when you get there. If you get there.
Flip it as well. What if they don't reply? What if they do? What if it doesn't? What if it does work? I think sometimes we need to change that voice.
Scary though, because what if it does work? I remember a lot of the time we only build our ideas based on our current comfort zone. That's why a lot of people who are like at a job that they hate, absolutely hate, and you're like, yo, there's better jobs out there for you. They're like, nah, I can't go do that. I can't go to a better job that pays more where I'd be happy. And it's like, why can't you? Because you know what? You hate this job, you're miserable. Because the comfort of the misery is better than the unknown of potential happiness. So it's a tough one, and humans like comfort. Even if that comfort's destroying you, do you know what I mean? When they're like holding on to that rope is doing more damage than letting it go. But it's like, I've always had that rope. It's like a relationship where you've like, my toxic partner, it's super bad, but I've always been with them. But then it's like, I can't not be with them. What if I'm not with anybody else? Yeah, but what if you're healthy and happy without that person? Nah, I'd just rather just stay here because we know how it goes. Life is just, it's nuts, bro.
There was a time where you struggled with identity. So you didn't know who you were away from basketball. Now, if we take away the basketball, the modelling, the entrepreneurship, the Why Not I think I've ticked everything that you do there.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, yeah, basically, if we take the accolades, the titles away, who is Kofi Josephs?
Just a cool kid from the inner city that's just trying to be the best person that he can be. Gets things wrong probably most of the time, but he's trying and is open to the growth, and he's excited for the future, and he's embraced all the lessons from the past. Literally, that's it. And he likes to go cinema. That's it.
You've inspired me with the cinema thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I ice skate. I play ice hockey. I've skated for probably like 10, 15 years. So, yeah.
I think all that's going to come across in this episode. You know, and how good is that? How you define yourself, how you describe yourself. People can watch this and go and get that same idea. Oh, that's who he is.
I like that because it never used to be that. Like I still watch some of my YouTube, like my interviews on like YouTube and stuff. I'm like, back in the day, and I'm like, But I'm like, he didn't know what he didn't know. He had to be him. It had to be, for me to be me. So, and it's okay. Do you know what I mean? And it's good now that I portray myself like this. And as I said, I'm not for everyone. A lot of people might think I'm a knob. That's fine. I'm not for you, but there's a lot of people I am for. We just need to get the people who are for you. Do you know what I mean? And that's good. Yeah, man. Like I'm really proud of myself for self-growth. I don't pat myself on the back ever. Like I actively now physically have a response. If I do something good, I actively, because I won't, I'm just onto the next thing every day, moving the goalposts. And I don't like that about myself, so I've actively started, good job, bro. Even if it's for a minute or a moment, just be gassed, be happy for yourself, because you don't want to just look back in years' time and like whenever time's passed and not embrace the feelings and emotions, because it's like you work so hard for this and you're happy and it's like yeah cool, done it anyway, on to the next. Embrace it, man. Be happy. Like it's all right to be a man and be happy. Do you know what I mean? When you've done well and set targets and goals, not just business but like anything. Like if I say I want to go to bed and have an early night and I do that, yeah bro, give yourself like credit, because it's easy not to. Just, do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people, it's like, what, you just had an early night, it's whatever. It's like, yeah, but I've been going to bed at 2 a.m. for like years. Like my girl says to me, she's like, when I first met you, you were eating, showering, and lights on, still working at 3 a.m. You now go to bed at like 1, but you started winding down from 11. You're naturally more creative at night. I'm not a morning person like that. I'm not doing the 5 a.m s. She's like, that's growth for you, because it's very easy for you to still be doing the 3 a.m s. But for your health, it's better for you to do the 1. That's when we're my aura ring and everything, because of the tracking and everything. But people don't realise how easy it is not to do stuff as well. It might be easy to some to do stuff, but it's very easy not to, man. Do you know what I mean? Like to drive past a Mackey's and just not get it. But if you've always driven past Mackey's and you got the budget for it, it's hard. Do you know what I mean?
Celebrate them small wins, and
they pile up, man.
yeah. And I think that moving the goalpost, a lot of people are going to relate to that. And I think partly that is because we expect ourselves to do it, to be strong, to achieve that, to be that person. And then we do it, and then it's like, oh, I expected it. It's not something to celebrate. That's the baseline where you should be operating. And why do we look through that lens? I think, I don't know if it's just a male thing, because I can only speak from a male perspective, but it seems like a lot of men are speaking.
I don't know a lot of women that do that. I know a lot of men that do though, myself included. I don't know, I think it's societal, because I've lived in 8 countries now and all the men are different. And I've been forced to embrace certain aspects of them because I'm outnumbered. They're not going to be on my BS because I'm in their country. Do you know what I mean? Which is a blessing. And I think because of society and everything, it's the pressure, and we just want to be so successful, a lot of men. But we actually don't know what success means. We just use the word successful. When you actually define it, it actually makes hitting the goal probably a lot easier, because you actually know what you're aiming for. Like if you just shoot an arrow at anything, did you hit it? Did you not? You don't actually know. And I think with success, which is usually the driver, because success with women, money, being a protector, this, that and the other, it's just like that pressure kind of like just burns us out. But we're thinking so far ahead. It's like you're 17 and you're like, yeah, I know who I want to be when I'm 45. And then you're like, alright, cool, so who do you want to be when you're 18? I don't know. So you can't skip from 0 to 9. It doesn't work like that. Nothing works like that. But that's why championing yourself on the small steps gets you from 0 to 1, gets you from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and you end up getting there. And the funny thing as well is, especially with a lot of men, we don't talk to the people who are where we want to be. We just assume. We just do our research and just assume. It's like, that's why like we burn down our own dreams and stuff, because if you do happen to meet the person or whatever, like for me with basketball, it started burning me out when I was a pro. Not because it was actually bad, but just because it was different to the dream I had when I was 13. That's all it was. It was just different. It wasn't bad. It wasn't better. It was just different, because when you have a dream or an idea, you only think of it really through the positive lens. That's what makes it a dream. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to think, oh, I might get cut from a team, or I might have a really good game, or I might get injured or whatever, which is all just a part of being a professional athlete. You just, in your head, it's like, I'm never going to get injured. I'm going to have all the money and the girls and the notoriety and this, that, and that's all you think about. But then there's the other side comes with it, which makes it all one.
It's a fantasy, right? A lot of people want to move away to whatever country.
Dubai. That's the thing on social media now. Everyone wants to move to Dubai.
Australia, whatever it is. And when they envision that, they think all the great things, by the ocean, or I can surf, I can whatever it
You're
is.
scared of lizards, but you want to move to Australia?
Yeah.
But in your head, it's just going to be amazing. You never thought that could be lizards when you get there.
No.
But then when you get there, you're still by the ocean, still got the sun and everything, but there's lizards, and now you're like, oh my God, my world's ending. But it's like you never thought about it in more of a realistic way. And then you say to them, all right, cool, so who do you know that lives in Australia? No one, saw it on TikTok. Sure, all right, fine. Have you messaged them on TikTok and be like, what's it actually like?
And they're showing you what it's actually like.
And it's like, no, but I've watched like 5 videos, so yeah, I've decided I'm going. All right, cool. So when you get there, and it might not be how it was on the TikTok video, it might be a little bit different. Now your world's ending. But it's like, do you do diligence to help you make your decisions? Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of men don't do that. They'll listen to Andrew Tate, see the cars, the money, and be like, yep, want to be like him. Do you know anyone like Andrew Tate? No. Have you reached out to? No. How do you know you just want to be like him, then? He's showing you 5% of his life. I'm not saying there's anything wrong to be like him, but just do your due diligence and then make an educated decision on what you want to do. And I in this day and age now, it's a lot easier to do that. Like, you can, if you want to be a CEO of a business, you can go on LinkedIn, type in CEO in a search bar, and they are there. You can just press connect, and a lot of them might connect with you, and then you can message them and arrange like a call.
Sounds like you've done it before.
I've done bare stuff. Like, if I've got like one of my role models, Kobe Bryant, basketball player, he ended up dying, unfortunately. I love him, not mainly because of what he did on the basketball court, but what he did after. He won an Oscar. He wrote a short story and got an Oscar for it. And I'm like, what? You're like one of the best basketball players of all time? And you won an Oscar for being like an author. The fact you had the balls to do that, wow, amazing. And then I'm like, how did you get on that level? And I do a lot of due diligence. Kobe would never have replied to me, but you can find information if you look hard enough. And I saw him on interview, and he was like, I didn't know how to write short stories, and I love movies, so I called Steven Spielberg and said, hey, this is Kobe, and I'm asking you some questions about how to write films. And I sat there for an hour, got the advice, took the advice to go. He was like, I'm humble enough to know, like, if you're good at something and I've got a question I want to know, I'm asking. I'm like, you're Kobe Bryant, little old me. If you're going to do that, where you've got the notoriety, where they're like, oh my God, Kobe Bryant's asking me. If you've got the balls to do that, I definitely need to do it, because I'm nowhere near where you are, and you're trying to do that to where you're trying to get to. So I need to do that, man. So if I need to ask questions to get the answer, I'd rather look dumb for like a second, but if I got the answer, now I'm smart again, or smarter than I was. A lot of these people as well, they want to help you. I love when people ask me questions and they're like, oh my God, I weren't going to ask you. And I'm like, why not? Because if you didn't ask, how would you know? But then I'll think that for them, but then a part of me was like, oh, I can't ask that CEO because he's going to think I'm dumb. But it's like, no. And then I ended up asking, and they're like, yeah, we love answering questions, because a lot of people ain't got the balls. The fact you've got the balls shows me that you've got something, that an intangible that you're actually going to go far. I'm like, wow, I just wanted an answer, but thank you for giving me more than I needed. Do you know what I mean?
Who's one person you'd recommend that I have on this podcast?
Young basketball player called Kayem Cleary, plays for GB. One of my young ballers, one of my why not ayers. He's a mental health advocate. He's got his head screwed on, and he's been through a lot. Okay. And he's wise beyond his years, but he's early in the process of going pro, and he's had a lot of challenges, but he's doing the work. And I told him I admire him for that, because when I was at his age and stage, I wasn't doing that. I was on some mad stuff. So I'm like, by the time you're at my stage, you're already ahead, as long as you stay consistent, which is amazing. Do you know what I mean? Because he's so talented, but outside of the basketball, as a young man, he's on the right path. Do you know what I mean? And I respect that about him, and I think he'd bring insight that maybe hasn't been heard before.
Yeah. Just reach out.
Yeah. I'll shout him.
Sip conversation.
Come on, bro. You want to do chronological order? Boring, bro.
Yeah.
Because my life's been my life. And I always talk to people. They always ask me, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool, but let's talk about some stuff people haven't heard, which makes your pod unique. Do you know what I mean?
And I love the feedback because now I know. Because even the last conversation, right? And I don't know if I'll cut this out or not, but I do my due diligence. Guest comes, got my questions, and he says, I've been on about 10 podcasts. I don't want to talk about...
Boom, 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 boom. And now you're like, all I have to talk about is boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so come on, does a little brief of the story because we don't want it to be the whole episode. And then we run with the conversation. Hands down, one of the best conversations I've had.
All my pods that I used to do, I just need to know about your story. Whatever we end up talking about, the audience is going to tap into because most podcasts are the same because it's about them. And if you do enough due diligence, you'll find the information. But I'm coming to your pod to get a new perspective. I love Kobe Bryant interviews, but I love it from players' perspectives now who might have played for him, like played with him on different teams because you've all got different stories. I don't want to hear the same story from 5 different podcasts. I want to hear the new shit because that is why I've come to you, because you've got a different perspective to him. Hence why I'm here. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I think is good about yours. Like some of the stuff I spoke about, I might have spoke about, but sometimes you want to hear about the same thing in a different way. Because depending on where you're at in your stage of life, you might need it to have been delivered differently. You might need to still hear it, but just delivered differently. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So, like today on our pod, I've never spoke about ChatGPT and business and this, that, and the other because the last pod I was doing, I went doing this in business, and that's what is good. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I've got a docu-series that I'm doing where I'm filming a lot of stuff that I'm doing with Why Not I and building Why Not I. Because I'm trying to build a business now that's unique and different. I don't know any young mental health black business owners that I can look to for a blueprint. So I'm going to have to trailblaze it, which is fine. But there might be some that are younger than me that want to do something, and at least now they've got me to look to. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing, man.
Love it. Where can people find you? And the work you do? Can they follow you on socials? You know, how can they get involved?
LinkedIn. I'm on there. Active. I'm only joking, but I'm not joking. Definitely on LinkedIn. That's for a start. That comes first. Get the Instagram and all that. That's just for vanity. But yeah, LinkedIn. Just Kofi Josephs, my name. Instagram, Dejkof, DEJKOAF. Why Not I? MH, that's the mental health page, so WHYNOTIMH, and then Why Not I Clo, which is just the mental health through fashion, so it's Why Not I and then Clo, CLO, Why Not I Clo. Where else? That's really about it, man. Really about it.
All the links be in the description below.
Holla at me. I'm friendly.
Thank you.
I'm very friendly.
Yes. Thank you for coming on.
Nah, for sure,
Appreciate your time, brother.
Nah, for sure, man. Glad we got to do this.